pressing upper and lower ball joints out with a solid front axle. The first thing we need to figure out is which direction the ball joints need to go in order to remove them from the axle. I find it helps. You can't look at the axle and figure out which direction they go. Get your new ball joints out and set them beside your axle, and then it'll become obvious the direction you need to push it. So I have my new upper ball joint, and if I set my new upper ball joint by my old upper ball joint, it becomes obvious that in order to get this ball joint out of here, I'm going to have to press it up. Pretty obvious that I need to press this ball joint down to get it out. We're going to remove the upper ball joint first. And in order to do that, I need to find a cylinder that's larger than the diameter of the upper ball joint. So I've selected this cylinder, and it should fit freely over the top of the upper ball joint. You can see that the upper ball joint will slide through this cylinder no problem. Then I've selected a plate that I can push against with my C-clamp. So I'm going to put the plate on top. I've selected another cylinder that will allow me to push stud of the ball joint. So I'm going to put our tool in place. Thread the rod down. Now, before I start cranking on this threaded rod, I'm going to push my C-clamp all the way around. If I don't now, as soon as I start turning on this, it's going to turn on. Right? So I'm going to get my half-inch ratchet out, 22mm socket, put it on top of my C-clamp, and now I'm ready to start driving this ball joint out of the hole. When we start to remove the ball joint, just like using our hydraulic press, it's a smart idea to look closely at what's going on. If you don't see movement with your ball joint, you may want to reevaluate the way that you have your adapters set up on the ball joint. We should see the ball joint start to move out of this pocket in the axle, and it should come up nice and steady all the way through. Turning this ratchet is like pulling the lever on the press. It's going to take a certain amount of effort to get this ball joint moving. It should get easier as I start to drive the ball joint out of the hole. If it gets harder, you're probably crashing your ball joint into one of the adapters. You need to disassemble your tool and look closely and figure out what the problem is. So we're going to move the camera into position so you can see the ball joint come out closely. Ready to press our lower ball joint out. We've got the upper ball joint removed, so I have some space for my threaded rod to fit in this axle tube. I've selected a cylinder that's wider in diameter than my ball joint is. So I'm able to support the bottom of my ball joint and drive my ball joint out. I'm going to be using a threaded rod with no adapter to push down on my ball joint. If you remember from before, we took a look at the lower ball joint and we identified that this ball joint needs to be pushed down. So my cone should fit over my ball joint without any problem. So I'm going to mount my tool up and drive my ball joint out.